Good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome to Bible in a Year with Lovie. We're on day 46 today. We're reading the Life Application Study Bible, 3rd edition, New Living Translation. I got me some new glasses so I can see a little better to read. Hopefully that'll help ease the headaches up as well. So, we're excited about that. Well, I'm extra excited about that. So for all of you who have been following along, you know we are picking up on Leviticus chapter 17. We're going to read 17 and 18. Then we're going to flip over to Matthew chapter 27 and pick up with verse 27 where we left off yesterday. In Leviticus right now, we're just going through the rules and how to be purified from all kinds of different things. So we're about to dive into prohibitions against eating blood and standards for the people. So let's see what God says. If y'all are ready, Leviticus chapter 17, Leviticus chapter 17. That's where we're starting. So if y'all are ready, let's dive right in. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to Aaron and his sons and all the people of Israel. This is what the Lord has commanded. If any native Israelite sacrifices a bull or a lamb or a goat anywhere inside or outside the camp, instead of bringing it to the entrance of the tabernacle to present it as an offering to the Lord, that person will be as guilty as a murderer." Ooh. Such a person has shed blood and will be cut off from the community. The purpose of this rule is to stop the Israelites from sacrificing animals in the open fields. It will ensure that they bring their sacrifices to the priest at the entrance of the tabernacle, so he can present them to the Lord as peace offerings. Then the priest will be able to splatter the blood against the Lord's altar at the entrance of the tabernacle, and he will burn the fat as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. The people must no longer be unfaithful to the Lord by offering sacrifices to the goat idols. This is a permanent law for them to be observed from generation to generation. Give them this command as well. If any native Israelite or foreigner living among you offers a burnt offering or a sacrifice, but does not bring it to the entrance of the tabernacle to offer to the Lord, that person will be cut off from the community. And if any native Israelite or foreigner living among you eats or drinks blood in any form, I will turn against that person and cut him off from the community of your people. For the life of the body is in its blood. I have given you the blood on the altar to purify you, making you right with the Lord. It is the blood given in exchange for a life that makes purification possible. That is why I've said to the people of Israel, you must never eat or drink blood, neither you nor the foreigners living among you. How many of y'all like your steaks rare? Because me personally, that's how I like my steak. But in reading this, I guess, maybe I should cook my steaks a little bit longer. Although I don't really get to eat steak much anymore, but I really like rare, but they are still kind of bloody. They're so juicy, they taste so good. But God says not to eat or drink blood in any form. So, yeah. Guess that changes the way I eat my steak. And if any native Israelite or foreigner living among you goes hunting and kills an animal or bird that is approved for eating, he must drain its blood and cover it with earth. The life of every creature is in its blood. That is why I've said to the people of Israel, you must never eat or drink blood, for the life of any creature is in its blood. So whoever consumes blood will be cut off from the community. And if any native-born Israelites or foreigners eat the meat of an animal that died naturally or was torn up by wild animals, They must wash their clothes and bathe themselves in water. They will remain ceremonially unclean until evening, but then they will be clean. But if they do not wash their clothes and bathe themselves, they will be punished for their sin. Living a holy life. This is just a little note that's in my Bible, so I'm going to read it. After the sacrificial system of forgiving sins is in place, the people are instructed on how to live as forgiven people. Applying these principles to our lives helps us grow in obedience and please God. So, chapter 18, standards for the people, forbidden sexual practices. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. I am the Lord your God. So do not act like the people of Egypt where you used to live, or like the people of Canaan where I'm taking you. You must not imitate their way of life. You must obey all my regulations and be careful to obey my decrees. For I am the Lord your God. If you obey my decrees and my regulations, you will find life through them. I am the Lord. You must never have sexual relations with a close relative, for I am the Lord. Do not violate your father by having sexual relations with your mother. She is your mother. You must not have sexual relations with her. Do not have sexual relations with any of your father's wives, for this would violate your father. Do not have sexual relations with your sister or half-sister, whether she is your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether she was born into your household or someone else's. Do not have sexual relations with your granddaughter, whether she is your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter, for this would violate yourself. Do not have sexual relations with your stepsister, the daughter of any of your father's wives, for she is your sister. Do not have sexual relations with your father's sister, for she is your father's close relative. Do not have sexual relations with your mother's sister, for she is your mother's close relative. Do not violate your uncle, your father's brother, by having sexual relations with his wife, for she is your aunt. Do not have sexual relations with your daughter-in-law. She is your son's wife, so you must not have sexual relations with her. Do not have sexual relations with your brother's wife, for this would violate your brother. Do not have sexual relations with both a woman and her daughter, and do not take her granddaughter, whether her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter, and have sexual relations with her. They're close relatives, and this would be a wicked act. While your wife is living, do not marry her sister and have sexual relations with her, for they would be rivals. Do not have sexual relations with the woman during her period of menstrual impurity. Ugh. Do not defile yourself by having sexual intercourse with your neighbor's wife. Do not permit any of your children to be offered as a sacrifice to Moloch. For you must not bring shame on the name of your God. I am the Lord. Do not practice homosexuality, having sex with another man as with a woman. It is a detestable sin. Let me repeat that one more time. Do not practice homosexuality, having sex with another man as with a woman. It is a detestable sin. There it is in the Bible. Plain and clear. Like God says it's a detestable sin. Period. A man must not defile himself by having sex with an animal, and a woman must not offer herself to a male animal to have intercourse with it. This is a perverse act. Yes, that is definitely a perverse act. Ugh. Do not defile yourselves in any of these ways, for the people I am driving out before you have defiled themselves in all these ways. Because the entire land has become defiled, I'm punishing the people who live there. I will cause the land to vomit them out. You must obey all my decrees and regulations. You must not commit any of these detestable sins. This applies both to native-born Israelites and to the foreigners living among you. All these detestable activities are practiced by the people of the land where I'm taking you, and this is how the land has become defiled. So do not defile the land and give it a reason to vomit you out, as it will vomit out the people who live there now. Whoever commits any of these detestable sins will be cut off from the community of Israel. So obey my instructions and do not defile yourselves by committing any of these detestable practices that were committed by the people who lived in the land before you. I am the Lord your God. That way. Yeah. So, if you had any questions about stuff like that, he just laid it out there for you. Like, it's not that anybody's being ugly. It's that God says that these things are detestable. And the land will vomit you out. Vomit you out. Like, detestable sins. That God ain't with that. Alright. Let's flip over to Matthew chapter 27. We're going to pick up on verse 27. Y'all know, like, I just get so in my feelings about these verses here, man. They just hurt my heart so much. So, yeah. So, yesterday we were reading where, Jesus had been betrayed already by Judas, and he had been, hit and punched and spit in his face, and then they took him to Pilate, and Pilate asked him, who do you want me to release? Do you want me to release Barabbas, or do you want me to release Jesus? He asked, like, what crime has he committed? Pilate's wife told him, say, don't have no part in this. Like, do not harm that innocent man. Don't do that. And so, Pilate really didn't want to harm Jesus. Like, he felt conviction already. So, he washed his hands before the crowd of people, and he said, I'm innocent of this man's blood. It's y'all's responsibility. Like, this ain't gonna be on me. This is an innocent man. His blood ain't gonna be on my hands. So then Barabbas was released, and Jesus was ordered to be flogged with a lead-tipped whip, and he was turned over to the Roman soldiers to be crucified. So here we are at verse 27, and let's just see what happens next. Some of the governor's soldiers took Jesus into their headquarters and called out the entire regiment. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him. They wove thorn branches into a crown and put it on his head, and they placed a reed stick in his right hand as a scepter. Then they knelt before him in mockery and taunted, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they spit on him and grabbed a stick and struck him on the head with it. When they were finally tired of mocking him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him again. Then they led him away to be crucified. Along the way, they came across a man named Simon, who was from Cyrene, and the soldiers forced him to carry Jesus' cross. And they went out to a place called Golgotha, which means place of the skull. The soldiers gave Jesus wine mixed with bitter gall, but when he had tasted it, he refused to drink it. After they had nailed him to the cross, the soldiers gambled for his clothes by throwing dice. Then they sat around and kept guard as he hung there. A sign was fastened above Jesus' head, announcing the charge against him. It read, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. 2 revolutionaries were crucified with him, one on his right and one on his left. The people passing by shouted abuse, shaking their heads in mockery. "Look at you now," they yelled at him. "You said you were going to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. Well then, if you're the Son of God, save yourself and come down from the cross." The leading priests, the teachers of religious law, and the elders also mocked Jesus. Like, what example are they setting? Even if he wasn't the Son of Man, the fact that they're mocking someone who is being crucified, like, you're supposed to be the example, and look at the example you're setting for the people who follow you. You know, like, oh. He saved others, they scoffed, but he can't save himself. So, he's the King of Israel, is he? Let him come down from the cross right now, and we will believe in him. He trusted God, so let God rescue him now if he wants him. For he said, "I am the Son of God." Even the revolutionaries who were crucified with him ridiculed him in the same way. At noon, darkness fell across the whole land until 3 o'clock. At about 3 o'clock, Jesus called out with a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you abandoned me?" Some of the bystanders misunderstood and thought he was calling for the prophet Elijah. One of them ran and filled a sponge with sour wine, holding it up to him on a reed stick so he could drink. But the rest said, "Wait, let's see whether Elijah comes to save him." Then Jesus shouted out again, and he released his spirit. And that's where we stop today, on verse 50. It just breaks my heart, man. It just breaks my heart. But he goes through all that for us. Like, he knew what he was coming for. Like you said in the comments from yesterday, Vincent, yes, he knew what he was coming for. He knew he was coming to die for us. You know, but it just breaks my heart that he suffered like that for people who, like, we don't deserve what he went through for us. We don't. I don't, and you don't. None of us do. We don't deserve what he went through, what he suffered at the hands of the very people that he was giving his life up for. You know, we don't deserve that kind of love. We were born with wicked hearts, but he was so pure, and he loved us. He loved us through all our mess, and it just, you know, reading it just really opens your mind and touches your heart in a way that, like, if you don't know Jesus, if you don't know what he went through, the sacrifice he made, if you don't understand how horrible his death was, then something's wrong. Like, we're so undeserving. And yet he loves us that much. He knew what he was coming to do, and he did it anyway, just for us, so we could have life eternal. So with that said, guys, if you want to see a change, you got to be the change. Lead by example, follow by design. If it ain't a God thing, it ain't a good thing. Be careful what you get yourself into. Use your discernment. God gives you discernment. We're blessed with discernment. So use the discernment that God gives you. Rest assured, you'll know whether or not what you're doing is right or wrong. You can feel it within yourself. But with that being said, man, I really hope that you guys all have a wonderful, blessed day. We're going to pick back up tomorrow on Leviticus. We're going to read 19 and 20. We're almost done with Leviticus. We're going to read 19 and 20, and then we're going to flip over to Matthew 27, and we're going to finish reading it out the rest of the way. And so I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed rest of the day. And I love y'all, and I'm so grateful that y'all tune in. And I really just pray that y'all get something from these videos. And don't forget to love like Jesus. I'll see y'all tomorrow.